Hey guys, I'm Nate. I'm the guy kind of spearheading this Hidden Valley Park thing, right? I'm also the events coordinator for Heart of Hanford. We're a downtown revitalization nonprofit bent on restoring downtown Hanford. We've got an art hop that happens every month. It's been the third Tuesday each month. It was actually Neil Swift at 111 that got that going. But we've kind of taken it under our wing. It's normally the third Tuesday each month, and we generally have anywhere from 10 to 12, 13 businesses participating, each with live music and art. It will be the 16th of May is the next one, and that's going to be student art, and we've got a pretty cool surprise for you. There's something remarkable happening in the California education system, and the only thing stopping it from happening here as well is people being aware of it. So we're gonna tell you about something pretty cool that's going on and how we can make it happen here too, and start to kind of mold a better future. Right now, this Hidden Valley Park thing, it's getting kind of interesting, right? Yeah. So I thought I would take an opportunity to tell you a bit about myself. I've got 2 DUIs, right? The first one I got in 2011. That was a .19. I was in Fresno. I didn't get taken to jail that night, but I did go back to jail for like 4 days, I think. That was a learning experience. Wasn't too bad. I mean, I was in like low security. You know, I'm not a dangerous fella. The next one was in 2014, and in that one was bad. I blew a .34. That's crazy. I was so drunk when they pulled me over. When they tried to pull me over. First off, I ran. I took them on a high-speed chase through downtown Visalia, and there's a whole story with that we won't get into. But point is, I got in the car and I drove, and I ran from the cops. And when I finally pulled over, I was so drunk that they could. Holy shit! Look at that little guy! Look at him go! You see that? I don't know if you can see that. Where are you, little buddy? There you are. Look at him. Right on, man. You rock it. He's just doing his thing. If only we were all so confident, huh? Anyway, I was so drunk when they pulled me over that I couldn't unlock my own car door. They had to pull me out through the window. Granted, they couldn't unlock the door either, alright? But they haven't been driving that car for 8 years, so I don't have any excuse. They pulled me out through the window. There's dash cam video and all that. I keep meaning to get it from the lawyer, and I always forget. Anyway, I spent like 2 months in jail. They arrested me that night. I was on my way to Arizona to visit family. I didn't get very far, obviously. I wasn't planning on driving overnight intoxicated, by the way. I was planning on staying at my mom's place, and I'd started walking, and then I got kind of bugged out by something and kind of freaked out and took off. And then when the cops found me, I was already in takeoff mode, so I just kept going. But I ended up spending 2 months in jail at that point, and I got let out on my own recognizance or whatever they call it, right? And fought that like people do, because it was marked down as a felony evading. It did get dropped to a misdemeanor, fortunately, and I spent 5 months in jail, right? 4.5, 5, something like that. But that was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me. We would wake up every morning at they put me in MCF, Men's Correctional Facility. I forget the dorm I was in, but we were a working dorm, right? So there was 50 bunks. Our dorm housed the kitchen staff and the hog farm staff. And I was hog farm worker, right? So we'd wake up every morning at like, I don't know, like 5:30, sometimes earlier, right? To get our little lunch sack and whatnot. And then most people would chow down on their breakfast and then go back to sleep until it was time to get up for work. But I would roll up my bedding, and I would set it up on my bunk, and I would climb up there, and I would meditate every morning for at least a half an hour, right? That paired with a great deal of hard work, manual labor. I was bucking hay most of the time. I thought it was interesting that they put the guy with the flight risk, right? The guy with the evading charge, they put him on the only moving vehicle in the place. I was driving the tractor around and bucking hay. Honestly, I had the easiest. Like, I recognized that I had the easiest, most easygoing job in the whole jail. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I did do processing at one point where I just sat in a room all day. And, I mean, I got to read, but by then I was kind of out of books that I wanted to read. So it was they were long days. Although, I mean, I got to read some Sherlock Holmes, which was pretty cool. A little dense, but some groovy stories. Anyway, and then so I would work on the farm, and then come back to the dorm. Had a little radio, so I'd listen to some NPR, right? All things considered and whatnot. Got some good information about what was going on in the outside world. The roughest, the two roughest days, I gotta say, were San Bernardino and Paris. Mainly because I couldn't. I mean, there's not much that I could have done anyway, but the fact that I couldn't. I had no way of consoling anybody was tough. I've never felt quite so helpless. Anyway, so I would I'd meditate in the morning, go to work, drive the tractor around, buck hay, out in the sun. That was good. The food blew. The food was terrible, but I got to work outside, and I was one of the few people that actually got some privacy, because I got to Speaking of privacy, you know what? Since we're in the sharing mood, Neil Gaiman, he's got this quote in his, in my opinion, it's one of the best speeches ever made, and that is, "Make good art." And he argues that the moment that you feel like you're walking down the street naked, exposing too much of your heart and your mind and what exists on the inside, that's the moment that you might be starting to get it right. So I'm going to make a confession to you so that you understand me a little bit better, because I am bearing all. This fight is much bigger than just the park, I promise. The park is a symbol for something, and if we don't start changing our world now, it's never going to change. It's hard to argue that we are not at a turning point in this world. Things are batshit crazy, and it's gonna. I promise, it's gonna keep getting worse unless we've got to center. We've got to recenter. There's a free meditation sangha in Fresno every Monday. Starts at 6. It's the Tower. Tower Meditation Sangha, I believe is what it's called. Renee Poltnick. She runs it, and she is phenomenal. She's been meditating for over 35 years. She did the whole 5 years in Tibet thing. She's a remarkable woman. I wish I could make it over there more often, but it is every Monday. And it's at Tower in Fresno, and it's well worth your time. We need to start. We have to center, or else we're not going to find our balance. Society is malnourished spiritually. But that's a whole other thing. But in the carrying along with the theme of full disclosure, that privacy thing, shit. I already said I would, huh? I jerked off in a porta potty. I know, a couple times. But, you don't get much privacy out there. And 5 months is a long time, man. Anyway, all right, now that that's out of the way, I don't know if I'm even going to leave it. We'll see. It's weird. Anyway, shit. Anyway, so meditate in the morning, go to work hard. Pretty beat by the time you get back, even though you come back at like 3 o'clock, 2:30, something like that, right? And listen to some NPR, read. Thank God my grandma was sending me, she sent me 6 books over the course of my time there, and those were Jim Butcher's the Codex Alera series. It's not my favorite book series, but Jim Butcher is one of my favorite writers, and those books were a treasure. I hope that they're still lasting. They were already kind of beat up by the time I left. We need to get some more. We need to get more books in those jails. Because as soon as people saw me reading them, they, what have you got? They love books. They love books, and they're stuck with mostly romance, to tell you the truth. Because that's what bookstores get a plethora of. They get too many of them. But I digress again. So I would read, and then dinner and all that, and then I would hang out with folks and talk to them and learn. I got and this actually wasn't while I was there for the 5 months. This was something that happened when I'd first gotten arrested, and I was there for that 2 months, right? I had there was this fella. I thought he was dumb as a rock. I really did. I thought he was so dumb, and he was a cool guy. I just thought that he, I liked him. I just didn't think he was very bright. And I saw him hanging out and playing some chess one day, and I was walking by, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he made eye contact with me, and he's like, hey, sit down, play. I was like, all right, man. And so I did, and he beat me in 4 moves. He kicked my ass. It was great. It was humbling, and I don't think I've ever been so happy to lose something in my entire life. My assumptions had just been thwarted, and it was great. Anyway, and then right before bed, I would do a chakra alignment meditation, and I haven't gotten back into that. I need to. And tell you the truth, since I got out, I haven't been meditating like I need to. I've just barely started again, when all this got going, and I realized that I needed to. It's necessary. But I just wanted you guys to know a little bit about me. I've made quite the transformation in a relatively short amount of time. I was screwing up for a great long time. But all of the major personal changes. I've always been a good person, I believe. I was kind of an asshole in high school. You can ask anybody. You can ask my friends. They'll tell you I was not an asshole. I was kind of a douchebag, though. I wore matching. I matched my bandana that would hang out of my pocket with my clothes. It was not that that's a bad thing. I was kind of material at the time. Not so much these days, I'm glad to say. Point is, I made quite the transformation in a short period of time, and this Hidden Valley rally that happened on the 23rd, I kind of surprised myself there. And don't kid me wrong, I did not pull that thing together by myself. Everything that you saw, if you were fortunate enough to make it out, everything that you saw came out of the goodwill of everybody involved. The sound guy donated his expensive equipment and his time all day. He was playing with dials, right? All of those bands, they played for free. We had 10 musical acts. Every one of them got up there and did it for free and offered and donated their time. The tea was free, and the biodegradable cups, those were donated. All of the items that got raffled off, those were all donated. Point is, we're capable of a great deal, and it's easy to forget that sometimes. It's all too easy to forget that sometimes, but it's there. In every single one of us, there is an Everest of potential, and it can stay hidden sometimes until you start. You just gotta fucking go for it, man. You just gotta start doing it. There's no cliche, right? There's no time like the present, but there really isn't, because things are so chaotic, because this world, this planet, and its inhabitants, both people and animals and everything, all the living things, all of it. There's this old Chinese proverb that kind of doubles as a curse. It's may you live in interesting times and may you find what you're looking for. Well, these times are interesting. That's hard to argue. But also, I don't know, I find parallels in art. Art is, in my opinion, the most powerful tool that we have, because the artist, it's their job to, while most of us have been just going through the motions, right? The artist has been seeking. They've been looking inside. They've been warring with themselves, and they've been transferring all that they've learned, whether they understand it or not. Their experiences carry over into their art, and that's what they share with the world. It's the sharing of these different perspectives, of these different understandings of our reality, right? But there are some things that have become kind of standard, in terms of how this society functions. We are not balanced. We are broken, and we have to realize that. And it's not under, like, we are not without blame in that, and our governments are not completely to blame for it. There is a balance. Everything moves and shifts together. It is like the kaleidoscope, it is the rippling pond. Everything is like what we're talking about for the idea that I've got for that other 18 acres, the permaculture, where everything is living together. That's one of our biggest problems as a society, is we don't function cohesively, right? The blame doesn't rest in any one place, and it's a matter of just fixing things, right? Picking up trash when you're walking down the street or through the park. I mean, pretend like as if you did drop it. Pretend like as if you did, at some point in time, cause some of this chaos in the world, right? Because I know that I have. I mean, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I took Visalia PD on a high-speed chase through downtown. That could have ended much worse than me getting pulled out of the car. Could have ended much worse, but it didn't. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. We've got a world to repair, and it has to start here. Now, like I mentioned before, the Hidden Valley thing, right? And also, like, look into that if you haven't. I don't want to drag on more than I already have. I see a ton of potential there. I think I've got a project idea for that space that can help change the world, right? And do it from Hanford, California. Now, there's also that video that I said will be showing up on May 16th at our Art Hop. Our Art Hop downtown, May 16th, right? Downtown Hanford. Local businesses will be featuring student art, okay? And local musicians, right? We were not able to get student musicians for that day because a local legend is retiring, and that is Lisa Butts, band director at Hanford West. She's retiring after 33 years of tireless effort. That woman is incredible. I mean, there's no, as far as like female role models go, that lady, she rocks it. All right, I've got a lot to thank her for. I owe her a great deal. I owe band a great deal, but we don't need to get into all that again. Point is, her retirement party is happening on that day, and so all of our local band directors are going to be there, showing their support, as well they should be. So we're going to have local musicians, some of them that played on the 23rd, and that will probably be playing at. We changed the date. It is not going to be July 15th. It's going to be July 8th, right? And we've got amazing local talent. Anyway, there's going to be this video aired on May 16th during the Art Hop, and it'll be available online, and it's going to highlight this arts revolution that is happening in the California education system, and it is something to pay attention to, I promise, because California is one of 4 flagship states. I recommend that you go and watch not only that Neil Gaiman speech that I mentioned. Both of these speeches are only like 20 minutes long, right? And they are two of the most they will end up being 2 of the most well spent spans of time of your life, maybe. They have been for mine. There's gold there. So watch Neil Gaiman's commencement speech, Make Good Art, and also watch Sir Ken Robinson's speech, Do Schools Kill Creativity? Okay? Now, this arts revolution is something to pay attention to, and like I said, California is one of 4 flagship states, so there's some pretty remarkable things happening in some areas of California as far as arts education goes. It's called arts integrated classrooms, and they're remarkable. And you'll see that in the video. But it's not quite happening here yet. We have amazing teachers. We've got some teachers that really stand out. I owe my love of books to Gary Rice, my 4th grade teacher. He had got us reading Harry Potter. That was good. That was a good start to things. But anyway, point is, I've got a plan for the whole year. The park space was on my list of things to do within the year, but it wasn't until months out, and then the city moved that forward. Hence, the sudden, ness of everything. It's going to stay that way for a while, I think. And there's a lot more to come. It's not just the park. There's a year of things to come, and I hope that you will pay attention to the Ssussdriad project. It's Project Ssussdriad on the Facebook and that website, Ssussdriad.com. I hope you'll keep an eye on it and maybe look into what the word means and read those books if you're interested. They're worth your time as well. I think that's enough. That's enough for me, man. I've been kind of dragging on. If you've stuck with me, congratulations. I know my ADD which I'm grateful for, because it has helped out in some areas as far as creativity goes. But I do recognize that I can drag on, and I'm not exactly a straight line of thought guy. I've got trouble keeping on topic sometimes. But so you guys have a good day. The magic that you bring to the world is as much as you want it to be. The fact that you are here is incredible. Existence itself is impossible. Think about it. I mean, existence itself, all of this, everything, it's impossible. It's impossible. But we're here. All right? So are the trees. So is the sky. So is our Mother Earth. Now, things that are impossible are worth protecting.